Hey everyone, this is Parker15 Shockwave, and today I'll be doing this commentary video between myself against Sergio's Kozmo deck with the Fire King Island tech into it. A lot of you guys have been asking me about the Amorphage deck profile, and I said, you know what, let me get this chance and see what this deck about, because a lot of you guys has been commenting about throughout my other videos and say, hey, can you do a deck profile? And I said no, because I didn't have the cards with me, but thanks to our sponsor, Blowout Cards, we did have all the cards necessary besides maybe one of the Amorphage lechery to actually complete the whole deck, but we worked with two at the time when we actually did this video. So before I start commenting about this matchup, I want to give you guys a little information about what Amorphage are and what they can do. So all monsters in the Star Tribe have three similarities. All of them are Earth, all of them are Dragon, and they all share the same monster effect, which prevents your opponents and yourself from special summon from the extra deck. What makes this archetype interesting is that the Pendulum Scales effect. A lot of these effects are floodgate cards, so if you guys don't know the term floodgate, it's just basically a face-up card that's preventing you to do a certain thing, such as activating traps, or tripping monsters, or even search for cards and add it to your hand. What makes this deck interesting, even though you're preventing certain action to be performed, you're still able to activate your Amorphage cards, basically giving yourself the loophole around these floodgate cards that you're setting up yourself. But there's two things about this deck that really draw back the deck a lot and make it more competitive in today's format. The first drawback is that in order to activate these floodgate cards, you must have at least one Amorphage monster currently on your side of the field. And the second drawback is that in order to keep them on the field during your standby phase, you must tribute one Amorphage monster on your side of the field, or basically any monster on your side of the field, or you're gonna destroy that card. And if you have two floodgate cards on your side of the field in both scales, then that means you have to tribute two monsters to keep them on. There's ways around it, and actually there's support that actually will utilize those self-destruction effect or tributing effect that I'll get in later on when we talk more about this matchup. But it's an interesting deck, something that I never seen before. It's very unique compared to all the different decks we have received here on the Shining Victories set. I do have some more complaints about this deck, but I'll go a little more in depth when I actually do the deck profile. But let's go actually for the matchup right now. As you can see, Sergio has been activating his own monster's effect on himself, such as the Delta Shadow and the Kozmo Destroyer. This way, he's able to present more of a field advantage instead of going for the most damage at the time, because he knows he can't go for game. So he's going to bring as much monsters as possible, and this way it will be a much difficult time for me to actually get over his card. It's very interesting that he's actually utilizing his Strawman and his Stormtrooper effect to actually bring out his Levier play. This way he can actually bring out Starman out again and use the effect to bring out another ship from the Banished Zone, which allowed those ships to be destroyed during the end phase, which also will give him another Kozmo of his choice to bring out to his side of the field. And he did bring out Slip Ride to destroy my Lechery, a card that prevents spell cards to be activated if I control a Amorphage monster on my side of the field. But that wasn't even effective, but I think he just wanted to get rid of it just in general. Now it's my turn, and I was able to play a second Infection. This is a spell card that gives my Amorphage monsters 100 attack and defense for each Amorphage card currently on my side of the field. So with 3 Amorphage cards on my side of the field, it gives my Amorphage monster 600 attack, but since I didn't have anything, I'm setting up my play and my skill so I can actually use Pendulum Reborn. This is a trap card that allows me to special summon a Pendulum monster that's face up in my extra deck, or in my graveyard to my side of the field. I played Jaragato just because I want to get rid of one of his monsters, but it actually has some synergy with this deck, because if I tribute it to increase the attack of one of my monsters, the Infection spell card will activate, allowing me to search for any Amorphage card from my deck to my hand. But the one problem I have with this is that I cannot activate Jaragado's effect to increase my monster's attack, just because that Gluttony is in my Pendulum Scale. I didn't mention about Gluttony when I played him earlier, but Gluttony prevents us from activating monster's effect, but Amorphage monsters can still activate their effect. So this way I'm able to prevent him from banishing his monsters so he can special summon the bigger ones, or you activating the ship's graveyard effect, which is it's annoying to deal with. So now he's gonna play his Kozmo Town, using it to add his farm girl back to his hand. This way he's gonna have more cards to shuffle back into his deck and hopefully get the card that he needs to get around Gluttony's effect, because it is a very annoying card, especially against a Kozmo deck. I didn't mention this when I was playing this during the beginning of my turn, but my first turn play was the Lechery and my Pendulum Scale, which again, like I mentioned, prevents spell cards. This way I was hoping that he had spell cards like E-Telly and Kozmo Town or Fire King Island that allowed me to prevent him from activating, because like that was the best thing I have in my hand to actually stop his crucial play. But as you can see, he did open up with full monsters in his hand, so it was very hard to deal with. Now, Sergio was able to find a way to get over my Amorphage Pride by triggering his monster for another Slip Rider, and this way he can go to infinity, giving him just enough to get over my monster. Some of you guys might be wondering why he was able to bring out his infinity while I control a Amorphage monster on my side of the field. So, like I mentioned before, all the monsters share the same effect, slightly different alteration of the effect when it comes to the tribute monster, but they prevent the special summon of the extra deck on both sides except for Amorphage monster. So now I'm going to be adding a Amorphage card from my deck to my hand thanks to the Affection spell card that I have currently on my side of the field. Whenever a monster on my side of the field is destroyed by battle or card effect or tribute it, I'm able to add a Amorphage card from my deck to my hand. Great effect. I really like it. Can help set up my play or even take advantage of the scales effect to keep on the field. And as you can see on Sergio's main phase 2, he was able to take up my Jiraigato and add more attack points to that infinity he had, so I had to just scoop from there. So now I'm starting the first game again, and I have a pretty good decent hand, mostly monsters, one trap, which is a Gozen match. So now I'm gonna set up my Pendulum Scales with Greed and Gluttony, and now special summon 2 monsters on my side of the field. This is a great way to actually start out, because right now he only can activate his spell cards, which would have been more better if I was able to retrieve my Lechery. But at this point, I'll take the Gluttony over that card anytime, just because this deck is a little more monster heavy compared to the spells. So as you can see, I did Pendulum Summon for 2 monsters, Pride and the defensive monster Envy. This way I'm able to have 2 tributes for my scales to stay on if I really want to. So at this point I did draw a Raigeki, and I'm still debating if I really want to keep the 2 monsters I have, but I decided to just tribute 1 monster to keep Gluttony, but just to forget for the Greed, because I didn't see much trap cards from his deck last time, but that could be changed because he can easily side up floodgate cards of his own, such as anti-spell fragrance. So right now I'm gonna take a chance with keeping the Gluttony on my side of the field, and then just attack his face down monster, which is the Stormtrooper. There's not really much that Sergio can do right now, so he's gonna play defensively. I'm pretty sure he's gonna keep on using the Kozmo Town's effect to keep reshuffling his hand if he get any more Kozmo monsters. So this way he can actually search out for any cards like MST or Twin Twister to get rid of my Gluttony, which is a big deal against his deck. On my turn, I was able to top deck a Pendulum monster for my other side of the scale. This way I can actually Pendulum summon the rest of the monster that was used for the tribute or destroy, and bring more tribute fodder for my scales to stay on, which is pretty good at this part right now. Luckily I was able to get rid of the Greed off of my Pendulum Scale. This allows me to activate my Gozen match and respond to his E-Telly, giving more restriction of his plays than what he had in mind to try to get over of this field advantage I have right now. So Gozen Match is one of my side deck cards that I put in for game 2. The idea is that since all my monster minus the Jiraigato has the same attribute, Gozen Match won't really affect them. And if I'm not able to open up with Gluttony or Gluttony get destroyed, I do have Gozen Match to actually give me a little more support to prevent my opponent's crucial play, because the most famous or most common play for a Kozmo deck is that summon Farm Girl, do some damage for that Farm Girl, and then search for Dark Destroyer and then summon that Dark Destroyer to the field, doing more damage, which is very crucial against any deck. So as you can see, he trying to tribute summon for his Dark Lady, but he can't just because I had to remind him that Wrath prevents all tribute. From that point, he can't really do much, so he has to end his turn and allow the Farm Given to be banished thanks to the E-Telly that he special summoned her with. Now on my standby phase, I have to pay the cost to tribute a monster so I can keep those scales on the field, and then right afterwards I pendulum summon those monsters back on the field again. It kind of sucks that you kind of need have 3 monsters to actually keep this floodgate going, because 2 for tribute fodder and then 1 monster to keep those floodgates to be alive, and that sometimes could be crucial depending on what your opponents have face set down. So this is basically the end of game 2, since Sergio cannot do any more besides defending, and my hands get a lot better thanks to the Persona field card. So now we're in game 3 and Sergio's going first. He's gonna set down a back roll and then activate his emergency teleport. I respond with my maxi knowing that I was gonna go second, and I did play 3 of this for my side deck. Now he's gonna special summon his 10 man, and I thought he was gonna just activate its effect to pay 500 and then reveal 3 of his Kozmo cards that for me to give to him, but he also activated its second effect where he can just banish it to special summon a Kozmo monster from his hand. This allowing me to bring draw 2 cards out of this maxi. Now he's on his Kozmo Destroyer summon, he's gonna activate his effect to destroy itself, and which I thought was a big surprise since I thought he was gonna leave it down there, but I see that he decided to just destroy it so he can special summon another monster to the side of the field, which he's actually gonna bring out his Dark Lady, which was the interesting choice. I thought he was gonna go for something else, but after talking to him after the match, he was telling me that he does have Slip Rider in his hand, which could help interrupt one of my big plays, such as getting rid of the Gluttony if I really had it. So at this point he did set down a face down card, and then now on my turn I play the Greed, hoping that it was a trap card he had, and so now I normal summon a monster just so I can prevent him activating trap cards if there was actual trap cards to be worrying about, and there I can safely pendulum summon into my monsters from my hand, and then play the Persona field card, giving my monster 300 attack and defense. While this is happening, we reach our 40 minutes of gameplay here, which means that both of us are in turns. Right now I'm the current player, so I'm turn 0, which is kind of sucks because that happened right after where I did most of my moves at this point, and now Sergio's turn is up and he's turn 1. After turn 3, we determine who is the winner of this game by having see who has the highest life point between us two. So it doesn't look good since I just had to play Solemn Strike because I had to stop a crucial play from the Strongman, because that Strongman could have done a lot of damage if I didn't play this strike, and I've been be a worse position than I was before. So now I don't have a way to get over his Dark Lady, which is the big dip as of now, and I could use a little more boost, hoping to top deck one of the other spell cards that increases my monster's attack, say Persona. I want to take a minute to explain why Strongman became banished when I play Solemn Strike on it, and that's because of my Pendulum Scale monster I have, and that's Goliath, which is basically the macro Kozmo of the Floodgates. So there's not much Sergio can do, so he's going to attack over my Pride and do a little damage, which is fortunate enough for me. But now on my turn, I was able to tribute to my monster that I have, so I can keep those scales and then use Persona's effect to draw 2 more cards, which draw me the cards that I wanted, and that's basically draw me an Infection. Mentioned before, Infection gives all my monster 100 attack and defense for each Amorphage monster on my side of the field, which is basically 7. That's more than I need to get over his Dark Lady, but he did play the MST on response to the Infection effect, which I could have thought of him using it when I declared my attack, which could have gotten more advantage of this game, but then he already got a game when he played that MST, so there's not much I can do. I have the Gozen match in my hands, so it's basically dead. So this is basically the end of the tournament match. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see the deck file, please like, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate to see if you guys really want to see it or not. This is Park from Team Shockwave, signing out.